Well, whatever, think I showed you this right before we started here, where you've got these, Democratic leaders, donors, everybody saying, who was it, Lindy Lee, says we have a stench of being a loser. And I don't know if we can ever reverse that. I thought it was an interesting statement. She said, we have such a loser stench that I don't think we'll recover by 4 to 8 years. Now, this is a woman who's given gazillions of dollars to Democrats, okay? And she's out there on all the talk shows, mad as hell that Harris blew $1.5 billion, okay? Blew $1.5 billion. I'm not going to give her any more money. And she's still raising money to pay off the $20 million debt, apparently. So these people are so angry that if you watch, they're all over the talk shows. And this woman, her talking point, we have the stench of hopeless losers right now. What's your take?
I think she's right. I think they do have the stench of losers on them right now. And the problem is not that you have the stench, okay? You can wash the stench off and go about your day. Problem is they're not washing it off. They have learned nothing. You know, there was an instance, I think it was about 2 weeks ago. Report came out saying that Black Friday holiday shopping was breaking records. People booking flights was breaking records. You know what the Democratic response was on social media? From the Democrats on the House, I think it was Oversight Committee. And they tweeted out that report and said, oh, we thought y'all couldn't afford eggs. They're mocking people for, oh, you're concerned about the economy, but you're still traveling for the holidays.
You know, when I saw that story, I do what you do. You do this more completely than I do, but when I saw that story, I said, this can't be true. You can't have Democratic leadership making fun of people who can't buy eggs by saying, hey, travel's up, vacation's up, you must be having a wonderful time. I really had to look in another source to say, this has got to be a planted story. This can't be true, but you found the same story I did.
Yeah, it was real. They did that. They ended up deleting the tweet after, of course, huge backlash, but that just shows you how out of touch they are. So that stench of being losers does extend to they don't get why they lost. Look, Harris had good policies. She had policies that would have sparked and given, these loans, debt-free loans to small businesses.
Did you hear about them?
I had to go find them.
I never heard about it because they were afraid to put her in front of a camera.
Right, and so there were good policies there, but she didn't really run on them. Instead, it was, hey, this guy over here is so dangerous, but I'm not dangerous, I'm fun. I just went to a record store. Look at the records I bought. And those, by the way, those are real things that happened.
I worked at McDonald's, and no, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Well, there's no evidence that she didn't work there. It was 1983.
I know, but you get the point.
Well, yeah,
you get the point.
But that becomes a stupid thing instead of.
She was always trying to become whoever she was. If she was talking to Latinos, we heard the Latino accent. She's talking to African Americans, we heard that pushed in there. She's a nutcase.
But instead
the American public saw she was a nutcase.
And what she should have been out there doing this entire campaign, the only thing she should have talked about was economic issues. Yeah. That is it.
Is she over? Are we done with her?
I think she has
other
to
than
be.
California. She'll prosper in California, obviously, but the rest of the country. Aren't we done with her?
I'm always of the opinion that once you get your butt kicked in a presidential election, go away. Yeah. I don't want to see you again. And maybe that's just me. But even with, I'm kind of that way with Bernie Sanders. I think you've given it a good shot, but I don't want to see you run again. I love your policies. I would have loved it if you'd become president, but you've tried, you failed. It's not going to work for you. It's the same thing with Hillary. It's the same thing with Kamala. So it was the same thing with John Kerry. Hey, you gave it your best shot, kind of. Go the hell away.
But you just can't connect. And you could dress her up any way you want to dress her up, just like they tried with Hillary. Let's dress her up with this weird little, I don't even know how to describe the outfit, fix her hair, have her talk a different way. People see it. They say, no, she's an awful character.
She was just mean and mad.
And that's what what everybody saw.
And Harris was not mean or mad. I think they kind of saw her as a little bit, maybe she's a little too silly. Maybe she's not serious about this.
Well, I think it was she's not bright. I really think the word salad thing got it. But that's old news. The only question I have is, Is she done with? I think she is.
Yeah.
She could work and she could succeed in California. She could succeed in New York. Nowhere else in the country. I mean, she's not even a legitimate player
And
anymore.
she can go on the speaking circuit
Yeah,
and make
yeah.
way more money there.
Might
doing
get
whatever.
she could probably, the way she communicates, she'd be really good on The View. I could see her as a new person on The View. That would work. Disneyland, they agreed to pay $233 million after lying to all of their employees. This is the most heavy-handed company. I mean, they ignore the law. I mean, they're almost like the Mormons, they just ignore the damn law. We're going to do whatever the hell we want to do. They came to Florida, they did that. They raised tax bases, we gave them subsidies. We gave them all of these things. And really, when we look at it and balance it all out, they were not beneficial. I mean, economically beneficial. When you really start weighing what we gave them. When you weigh the impact that they tried to have on politics, on wages, on taxes, it was almost like inviting somebody into your home and they start moving around all the furniture in your living room. That's what this feels like to me. Go ahead.
Yeah, what happened with Disneyland out in California is back in 2019, the state raised wages for companies that fell within a certain category. And it's very, technical. But anyway, Disneyland fell into that category. Mm-hmm. State says you have to raise your wages. Mm-hmm. And instead, Disneyland said, no, we're not.
Yeah, literally defied the law.
And so then all the workers said, okay, as they continue working because they have to have jobs, they're not getting the raises, so they file a lawsuit and say, okay, Disneyland, you're literally ordered by the state to do this. We have to sue you. 5 years later, we finally get this settlement where Disney says, okay, fine. We'll give you your $233 million split among thousands and thousands of employees that we screwed for 5 years. So now we're all caught up and good. But here's the thing, by not paying those wages to these people over those years, what does Disney do with that money? Well, they get to invest it. So what is that money that they didn't pay their employees do? It makes money. It makes money. So this $233 million.
They've already paid. They've made $1 billion.
Exactly.
They've made $1 billion. And when they pay it, you know what? They'll take a tax write-off.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yep.
They're going to pay the money and then they're going to take a tax write-off. That's after they put it as a reserve. Okay, this is money that we're holding as a reserve. And as a reserve, we're able to collect interest on it. We don't pay any taxes on the interest,
Yeah.
They are a bully. This is a company that's a bully. They're a terrible corporate citizen, if you want to know the truth.
Yeah.
And we've experienced right down here in Florida. And, you can dress them up in Goofy and Minnie Mouse and however you want to dress them up. They are bad corporate neighbors. And if they're coming to your place, your state, don't buy all that BS. Well, give us all of this land. Give us subsidies on all of this land, on our taxes. Don't make us pay for anything, and we're really going to increase the wealth. You're going to really increase your wealth. It's just nonsense. It's absolute, utter nonsense.
And if you go to any of these parks, because it is a #1 destination for families, the kids love it. But listen, you go to these parks, you see these workers there, treat them with extra kindness because it takes about 4 of them to afford an apartment.
Oh, yeah.
They're all getting screwed on wages, basically.
For example, Disney World, they have to drive hours just to have a place to live because there's no place to buy, that they can even live around there.